Willkommen zum Video. After the end of last episode, I've now decided to do this entire episode in German because, oh, never mind, I've just failed that, so I'm not going to do that anymore because, yeah, I don't know enough German for that. Okay, so I've made a few changes, as you can see. We've got a few more, not that one, got a few more static ints. We've got a few more static voids, these three, and got most of that. Okay, so I'll show you these ones. So this int is, if it's 0, then it's a no. If it's 1, then it's a yes. This is a condition in the static void of key. So it's somewhere else, but it's in here actually. So if this is 1, which means it's yes, so if you have the key, which is what this is saying, then it will run the key procedure, which is now this one. So it will, this is the value for the key, which was on the side of the, like the left-hand side of the screen thing that I'm going for, and then this will print it out in the right position here, except this is wrong, but I'll get into that in a minute. So that's the same for all of these. Got the axe one and the tankard. So this essentially runs in every single thing, so it'll be here, and then if you have any of these, it'll print it on the left-hand side. Okay, so this bit was fine. This is all of the code for, hang on, it takes a second because there's so much of it. Okay, so this is the end of the code, and it's that many numbers, which I had to write out by hand, which was okay. This while loop is the same as the one for the start, not the start, was it this one? I don't remember where it was, but in it. Yes, yeah. This is the same while loop, so this is the code for the pulsing press space to begin bit. So this means while any key, well, it will do it until any key is pressed, and that key has to be the spacebar. So this new line of code says that it can be the W key, the A key, the S key, or the D key, which are just stand-ins for forwards, left, right, and down, or back. Okay, so then this is the same set of code, which just prints out each of these sections. These two can go back together, just because there was something where I'd done a double line in this one, and it was messing it up because there weren't 12 in here, but there were 12 in here, so I tried to do the 12th one in here, which you couldn't get to because it didn't exist. So I can fix that. There we go. Okay, so that's all back together. So now it does that. If you're looking at this, which might be, this is, well, before it was, this is the place in the line. So when j is 0, this is 2, so it starts from the second position from the right. This is the top bit, so it starts from the second, the third row, but it's got a 2 space on either side, which is what this means. And then this moves the second one over, so it moves out of the way of the first one, and this moves it down as well. Then this is the same, so it's 2 from the end. This moves all of it down so that it's below this first line of things. Then this one moves it over as well, and then this is the same thing, 2 away, moves it down, 54 away, moves it across. Okay, and then these are all of the things. Okay, so what this looks like, now that I've finally got it to stop overheating for 30 seconds. So you still get the full screen, and press that. Get the ether on, pulsing, press space, you get this bit, which is, okay. So this is the problem, because this isn't what it's supposed to look like, and I worked out why. Because this section, this last line is repeated twice, which is the only one out of any of these which is repeated twice, but it's supposed to be repeated twice, because then it fills up the entire screen rather than just a tiny little section. So I worked out what was wrong with this by setting the draw function for light grey to be only 1 space, but all the others are 2. So this is because on this section, when it draws, so it'll set I to 0, set j to 0, move it across, so it does from the 2 in, 2 down, it'll do 0, 0, which is this one, and then it'll set it to which does 2 spaces, so it moves it across 2, but then this j only increments by 1, so then it moves it back a space. So if you can imagine, it goes here, it writes space space, but then this next line goes back 1 and then does space space again, so it covers up these 2 bits, so only one of them is showing. So I think I've worked out a way to fix that, which is this. So I've times each of these j's by 2, so that it jumps 2 across and still has, so this is the starting value, so it starts from. So when j is 0, it starts at position 2. When j is 1, it starts at position 4, so it's moved over 2. So this will always stay the same, which is why these are all the same number, but just the j's have changed, which now looks like this, which should have fixed it. Right, yes, these lines are because I haven't redone put the extra space in there. Okay, and we're back in business. There are a few mistakes which I spotted, which were that this doesn't have another green one. The green should be there and there. That's easily fixed, because I can just go into the code and I know which section the greens are in, so I can just change which one is at the end. I think that's one of the only changes that I need to make, which should be good. That's right, that's right, that's right. Hat's right. Yeah, that looks okay. So I fixed the door. This is all right now. Everything is in blocks of 2, so that's 2. That's 2. So all of these pixels are 2. However, oh yeah, and there was a bit missing here. Well, I fixed that as well. However, this is 2 lines from the top. However, it's also 2 spaces wide. It's supposed to be 4 spaces wide, but I didn't account for that either. So I just fixed that. Okay, so I fixed it by changing these to 4s and this to 56 rather than 54. So everything is shifted over to, which should now work. Okay, so now it's 4 from the edge, 2 down, which puts a neat little border around it. Everything is in position, so this is alright. And then at the bottom, I need to add a little description bit. Got ether on up there. Essentially, yeah, that's the first slide. I need to work out what I'm going to say for the flashing description bit, and then I'll get back to you if it doesn't overheat and stop my ability to work on it again. Okay, so I've improved it, so I've got this bit, so this shifts it across 24 with this, and then it starts there. So all of these are lined up, and then I had a bit of faff trying to do the start thing because I wanted the Etheron logo up the top, but I wanted it out of the way, but still. But before, when I had it, there was a big gap of 11 lines. Now there's like no gap at all, which is exactly what I wanted, but I kept having to change it because it was doing it so this "you wake up in a tavern" bit you could still see the logo, but I didn't want that, so that took a while. And then I've added this section here, which is essentially, it runs through all of this, so this while still happens, so it gets to there and it rewrites all of these bits and all of this several times over, which looks like this. Okay, so this is the first thing, and the logo's up there. So this gives you enough time to read through it. Okay, and then you can see the cursor is going wild, going all over this, and rewriting everything every second. That was because if I had enough time to do it, I would add a second frame, so it looked like it was moving, and it was an actual like cutscene thing, even though it was just 2 frames going back and forth. However, I don't want that anymore because it would take forever. Actually, I might want that. Actually, yeah, I'll probably keep that because I won't be able to finish the game before the deadline for college. But I can continue doing it. I don't want to make any changes which would just ruin it. So now this is waiting for you to press any of these keys, W, A, S, D, E, or T. Equip will, because right now you've got the mug thing in front of you, the equip button would, I haven't coded it yet, but it would, if you pressed E, show up with the goblet thing, not goblet, tankard. It would show it up here if you pressed E, and then it would go back to this and run through it all again. Well, it wouldn't, it would wait for you to press another key. If you do to talk, there's no one to talk to yet. Actually, there is someone to talk to, there's this fella. But you haven't gone up and talked to this fella first. So you don't know what it is. So either you can't press go left, because there's nothing in the left, because there's a corner. You can't do backwards, because you're in a corner. So you can either do W to go forwards, or D to go right, or E to equip the goblet. I keep doing that. Mug. Equip the mug. So it would show up there. So what you have to do is go forwards to talk to this fella, and then you can press to talk. Yeah, and then he'll tell you stuff. Yeah, so I'll add the equip function next. Okay, it's come up with the thing again. I have implemented it, so if this is the same code as up here. If the key is available, if you're able to press a key, and you have pressed a key, and that key is the E key, then it'll increase this to 1, which will set off this, and then that will go to here, and then it'll write the tankard there. Yes, yeah, it will. So set it to that, which is wrong, because it should be... I haven't updated this for the change of this bit. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so it's working again. I've got the E working, I believe. So that didn't work. Maybe that. No. That. Okay, it's not working. I'll try again. Okay, here we go. I've given it 10 seconds, so that should be enough time to read that. Okay, so what I did was I put console.read key in, so it won't do anything until you press the next key. So the cursor is down here. Okay, and E, I need to enter that. No, okay, that's not working. Okay, so I've worked out what it is. This while loop will keep going, and this console.read key is inside the while loop, this is inside the while loop, but these bits where it checks to see if it needs to print the tankard axe or key is outside of the while loop. That's this bit. So this needs to be checked every single time. So that needs to be shoved very politely in there. Then that can disappear. Okay, and then that should work now. Oh, we're back to this. Okay. Okay, it just keeps coming up with this, so I'll have to turn it off and wait for a bit. Okay, rather excited. I've done a bit more. Don't look at that bit yet. This now works, so if you press E after this has been loaded, then this is just a test. It would only do that one, because there's only that one that you can pick up. But just to test it, I've set them all to be 1 from E, just so I can see where it is. I've positioned them correctly, which is these ones. So I've set all of these to be the correct values for where they need to be. But the bit I'm really excited about are these 2 lines, which are probably the best lines in the entire thing, because it means I've added sounds, like voice lines, to the thing. So now I can read this and it be put in, okay, because I use this. Well, I don't need that one. But I've used this recording and I've put it here, which I learnt how to do thanks to some lovely people on this thread on Stack Overflow. Thanks to these lovely people here, and these 2 lines of code, which I essentially copied and pasted, I have been able to add that sound. So currently it looks like this as the whole thing. I'm just going to show it all the way through. Okay, so there we go, nice logo, flashing press space, rewrites it.
Hello, this is
Ethan Ross is just up there. Hey, look at that. Okay, so that would be me reading that. Okay, so then this is the entire tavern thing. All of these pixels are correct, I've checked them all. None of the buttons do anything except E, which if I do that, it wipes out what was here and puts all of these here, which is how it should look. This is 4 away from the wall, so it's two of these, so it's even, sort of even. These are, that's just a normal amount of, well, this is 2 spaces, which is the same as that. So this is the same away from the edge of this bit, because that is the 4 spaces which are on this side. So it's all centered and works properly. This looks alright, these bottom 2 lines. I don't think I need to move them over, just because, well, I might do actually, because this bit here isn't the middle of the entire page. So maybe I will. Yeah, I'll just go do that. Okay, so I've just added 4 more spaces on this side and this side. So this should be bang splat in the middle. This bit right here should be the middle. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 away from that side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 away from that side as well. Yes, so this is exactly in the middle, these bits. And E again. There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm very happy now. I'm just going to record the voice line for the introduction bit, and then I'll get back. Okay, I've just had the most brilliant idea ever. So I've dug my recorder out from where it's been buried for the past, it's been like 10 years? Yeah, it's been in a drawer for 10 years, so that's, yeah, I'm gonna add I'm gonna add bits of recorder, mainly in the Etheron bit, so I can say like, Etheron! But make it sound more like I haven't just picked it up and played it for the first time in a decade. Yeah, I'm gonna do that now. Oh, and I still remember how to play hot cross buns. Hang on, no, that's Rudolph. Well, the first 2 bars of Rudolph. You're welcome. Okay, so I've got a voice recorder thing up, which I can then change into a .wav file, so I can play it in Visual Studio, which is what I'm using. I'm just gonna try and come up with a cool like melody thing, so I can play it before I say Etheron, or however I decide to do it. I'm gonna leave in all of the trial and error, but I'm gonna speed it up to like 8 times the speed, so it's just gonna sound like for a bit. So yeah, enjoy that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go now at 45 seconds. No, that sounds more like an alarm, which isn't what I was going for. Hang on, that sounded like Good, the Bad and the Ugly. This is terrible. I'm so bad at this. So I'm covering 0, 1, 3, and 5. So I'm making quite a few rude gestures with my hands. And that sounds just like... Okay, so that sounds sort of alright. This is a lot harder than I thought, playing an instrument after 10 years. It sort of needs to be quick and snappy, like just a few notes, but I can't come up with the right ones. Oops. I'm gonna do that. Okay. Absolutely not. Nope. Etheron. No, thank you. Okay, I need a closing thing. That's important. Well, let's just listen to it. Etheron. Okay, that sounded okay. I don't like my voice in the middle there. I'll just do it again. Etheron. Well, it says this at the end. Does that seem alright? which is not exactly what I was going for. Okay, that was painful. Does that seem alright? No, past me, it did not. Okay, never mind. Cut this bit out. That's gonna be really embarrassing if I didn't cut that out. Yeah. Okay, so I've got it now. Etheron. Okay, so if I can edit out that click right at the end and my breath at the beginning, that bit, if I can edit out that breath, then it should be golden. Okay, so this is the video editing software that I'm actually in for, like, this is the rest of the episode that you're watching, all of this bit. So I'm just trying to see if I can cut out this breath. Does that work? Oh, it does work. Okay. Okay. It's going to have a watermark, but I'm just using the audio, so it should work anyway, I think. Oh yeah, so here it is in my folder. And then if I play it, Etheron. Okay, so it hasn't corrupted my sound quality. That's good. Okay, so I'm putting it right at the beginning, so it's just before the bit where it writes the text. So it's playing the music as the text is coming up on the screen. So I just changed that to whistle spelling. There we go. Okay. Okay, and then this is the bit where I put in the things. Very helpful. Oh, yes, never mind. I need to change it into a .wav file. Okay, so I'm just putting it into this online converter. Now I can add it into here. So there we go. And then if I try that, if it hasn't overheated again. Yep, build succeeded. There we go. Okay. You ready for this excellence? Etheron. Okay, yep, lovely. And then press space. Hello, this is a test recording. Yeah, I can change this to me actually reading that. And then you've got that, and you press E, and it comes up with all that. Lovely. Okay, so now I'll record the one before. Press space to begin your journey, adventurer. Good luck. That seems better. Seems more like, if you've watched Jumanji, the tour guide guy is like, welcome to Jumanji. Yeah, that the remake of the classic. Oop, not the actual classic. That was good though. It's got Robin Williams in it. I hate my voice on recording, which is funny because I'm recording my voice. So, yeah. Put it after here, so everything's already written, and then I can do another thread.sleep for an amount of time. I'll say 1 second, and then I can change that depending on if it starts during the whistle bit. And then I can copy and paste this, stick it in here, change this to the welcome, this to welcome cut. I think I spelled it. No. Welcome _ cut. Oh yeah, it doesn't. Wait, does it need the WAV? It does need the WAV. Why is that not? Huh. Okay. Ah, okay. So these ones are called recording WAV and air and whistle WAV. This one's just called welcome cut. So I think I don't need this bit. Okay, that's not what it was at all. Silly mistake. Somehow I managed to delete that. There we go. Okay. And then... Huh. Oh yeah, I just set it to welcome. There we go. That should work now. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm having more fun than just writing code. Okay. And it hasn't... Well, I've been burning quite a lot of stuff, so I smell like smoke. Not like that. I've been burning old books from secondary school, so I smell quite a bit like smoke. But it must have allowed my computer to cool down sufficiently that it's been able to run this for however long it's been. Press space to begin your journey. 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 There's a small problem. Right, okay. A small problem. It loops because it's in the while loop there. So I'll cut that. Ah, wait, but... Huh, okay. I don't know how I'm going to do that. 1 second definitely wasn't enough time. I'll change that to 10, because it cut off the that bit. So... Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Okay, what I can do is I can just put a bunch of empty space on the end, because it overrides, once you play a new one, it overrides it, because we saw that with the thingy. The thingy. Oh wait, no, I can't have that in there either, can I? Yeah, okay. What if I... Okay, so what if I put this after this section, so it writes it out, and then it does... Yeah, so it waits until the Etheron is done, and then it flashes up, and then it says press play and flashes up with welcome to the land of light, press space to begin your journey. Because they won't be reading things on the screen, obviously, they'll be listening to my wonderful recorder skills. So yeah, that should work. Okay, and then try that again. Boat succeeded, lovely. And go. Ether on. Press space to begin your journey, adventurer. Good luck. Okay, so that's only repeated once. It was a little bit of a long gap, so I can just change it to, where did I put it there? Change it to 8 seconds, maybe 7.5. I still want like a dramatic pause after it. Ether on. Press space to begin your journey. There we go, perfect. Adventurer. Good luck. Okay, there we go. And then press space. Hello, this is I still haven't done this bit yet. Da-da-da. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, there we go. E comes up with all the stuff. Okay, lovely. Now I can do the other one. Well, I was so excited by the fact that these 2 lines of code allowed me to play a thing, but I couldn't find it. These 2 lines of code have essentially been the culmination of, what's it been, 3 days of looking up ways to play this. So even though there's going to be like 4 people who watch this, possibly 1 being, yeah, so most of the people who are actually going to watch this will be my computer science teacher, and presumably if he did the drinking game for the first, well, the 0th part, computer science, then that'll be them. So, hi them. Hope you're enjoying it, and hope you're not completely drunk. Hate for you to get alcohol poisoning. Yeah, but for everyone else who isn't a qualified computer science teacher, and didn't know how to do this is essentially a tutorial. It won't reach many people. There'll be like 3 people who know how to do this now. But yeah, you're welcome, 3 people, one of them being me. So thank you, me. Thank you, 3 people. And you're welcome. So yeah. I did get interrupted a few times, which is why the last couple of seconds of, well, the last minute or 2 of this recording is a bit hodgepodge. So yeah, I have no idea what I was doing, so I'll just go and check. Well, I knew what I was doing, but I don't know what I said I was going to do next, so I'll just go and check that. Okay, so what I was going to do is I was going to re-record, that one works, I was going to re-record the, where is it? Oh yeah, this one, the audio, that one. I was going to re-record that one so it reads that. So give me a minute. Okay, so I've got it split screened so I can record in here and read from here. So yeah, I'm not going to record this one because it won't take very long, but yeah. Okay, I changed a few of the words. Don't know whether that was a good thing to do. I kind of did it subconsciously. So, you wake up in a tavern in a strange land. You have no memories, just a throbbing sense of pain. You lie, propped up in a corner, with the bar ahead of you, and the rest of the tavern off to the right. Okay, I think the 3rd line, this line here, should be more matter-of-fact. These first 2 I can put emotion into, but the last one I should probably have as, not not that one. Hang on, why did I do two? So that's the same as that one. That is the same as that one, and that's okay. It's just duplicated it. What? I don't know. Something wrong is going on. No, something is wrong.
You wake up in a tavern in a strange land.
That's okay.
You have no memories, just a throbbing sense of pain.
That's a good one.
You lie, propped up in a corner, with the bar ahead of you, and the rest of the tavern off to the right.
I don't need to sound quite so mysterious with that one. The first two lines, those are mysterious, because you have no memories, and you wake up in a strange land. That's kind of spooky. So I'll re-record that. Okay, that seems better. Come on. Okay, it's not liking it for some reason. Give me a minute. Okay, I fixed it. This is just by closing down a bunch of stuff. Seems like it's overheating and the rest of, well, everything is ruining. But yeah, sounds like this.
You wake up in a tavern in a strange land. You have no memories, just a throbbing sense of pain. You lie propped up in a corner, with the bar ahead and the rest of the tavern to the right.
Now that seems okay, so I'm going to put that one in as well, if I can get anything to work. Okay, there we go. I've got it in there. Let's see what that looks like. Ah, yes, it has overheated. That's a shame. It was going really well. I don't know what else I can do while it's cooling down. Well, except from watch National Treasure, which is what I was doing before. But I had to stop because I was recording voice lines. And, well, I was doing this. But yeah, it was just something to do while I was writing code. But I don't know what I'll do while... Because you essentially just have to close it and then wait for a while for my laptop to close down, to cool down. And I can't really do anything in the meanwhile. So I'll catch you in a bit once my computer is no longer lava. Bye. So I've finished National Treasure and I've just started on the second one. But it's started working now. Must have cooled down enough. I did a quick run through and I've just changed. This used to be 7,500. I've changed it to 10,000 because it stopped. Well, it changed to the scene before I'd finished saying that. So now, altogether, it looks like this. I just want to say this is one of my favourite things I've ever done. Oh, just because, well, I get to share it with other people, but even if I didn't, this was amazing. I mean, listen to this. Isn't that great?
Ether on. Press space to begin your journey, adventurer. Good luck.
I mean, this is great.
You wake up in a tavern in a strange land. You have no memories, just a throbbing.
Yeah, so this is the bit where
pain.
it's swapped after now.
Up in a corner, with the bar ahead and the
Okay,
rest
it's still
of the
too
tavern
short.
right.
That sounded like maybe 3 seconds. So change that. Start it again.
You wake up in a tavern in a strange land. You have no memories, just a throbbing sense of pain. You lie propped up in a corner, with the bar ahead and the rest of the tavern to the right.
Okay, that seems like a good enough. Yeah, that seems perfect. And then E. Whoa. Yeah, yeah, I'm very happy with that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Probably code in the forward and right key and the A and S keys, but I'll just say like, oh, you can't go that way or something. It'll just have a message, and then it'll rewrite back to this. But yeah, this is good. This I don't know how to explain it. This is just the most fun I've had in literal years, and I oh, it's just so good. Right, so I've come up with a way for you to drop the tankard. So if you press, so this starts off, if you press the E key, and the tankard is 0, so it's not equipped, it doesn't show up, then it sets it to 1, and then it runs through to here, and it will set it to, it will draw it out. However, if this condition isn't true, so if it's already 1, then it will go to this one. This can't just be an else, because if it was an else, then if you hadn't clicked E, it would take you to this one. So this has to be an else if. So if it's read that you've pressed an E, and it's already 1, so if this one is not right, then yeah, so the only way that this will ever run is if it's already 0, and it'll set it to 1. However, after this, I was running into problems when this was just an if. If once this was finished, it would then run onto this one, so it'd go, if it's already 1, then it sets it to 0, which wasn't showing up, it wasn't pasting it, because it would run through this one, set it to 1, because it would always be 0, so it would set it to 1, and then it would run to this, and because the E key had been pressed, and it had just been set to 1, it would then set it to 0, and then it would never do this line of code and draw it. So this line, where it sets it back to 0, will only happen if this one doesn't. So they won't cancel each other out. So now I should be able to drop it. So if I add if tankard yes no equals 0, then console.writeLine, I'll just do write dropped. Okay, so I pressed E twice and it's come up with this, and then this shows that it's dropped. Well, it would have turned it off, so now tankard yes no is on no, because you haven't picked it up. So when I code it, this bit will disappear, so it'll just go back to being black again, and you won't have this equipped, which is good. That's what I wanted.